Dong Energy is the largest power producer in Denmark. We produce about 50% of Denmark's power and about 40% of the district heating. The power is produced at 25 large and small power stations in Denmark. In addition, power is produced from wind and water. The power plants use several types of fuel, such as coal, oil, natural gas, straw, wood pellets, chips, and waste. In fact, we do not produce energy, we refine energy. The fuels already contain large amounts of energy that the power stations transform into electricity and district heating by means of efficient combustion. Several of Dong Energy's power stations burn various kinds of fuel. This assures flexible production. The main part of the residual products coming from the combustion and the flue gas cleaning is reused in the production of building materials. Most of Dong Energy's power stations produce both electricity and district heating. In this way, we make use of a lot of heat, which would otherwise be wasted. Hot steam from the power production heats up the district heating water, which is used to warm up our houses. Dong Energy's power stations are among the most efficient in the world. We have optimized the amount of energy generated by the fuels, and the emission of CO2 per kilowatt hour is one of the smallest in the world. Dong Energy is striving to maintain this position, not only by improving the existing technology, but also by developing new technological solutions. The basic principle in a power station is quite simple. First, fuel is fed into the boiler. The fuel could be coal, oil, natural gas, wood pellets, chips, or waste. The flames in the boiler heat up kilometers of pipes in the boiler, where the temperature reaches about 1500 degrees Celsius. The water in the pipes becomes so hot that it vaporizes into high-pressure steam. High-pressure steam is fed to a turbine, in which it expands and makes the turbine blades rotate. The turbine blades rotate around a shaft and obtain a rate of 50 rotations per second. A turbine can be divided into several sections, in this case 3 sections. At first, steam is fed to the section with the smaller blades, after which it continues to the central section. Slowly losing energy, finally the steam is led to the largest blades. The shaft in the turbine makes the magnetic field in the generator rotate. The generator almost works like a huge dynamo lighting set, as we know it from old-fashioned bicycles. The rotating magnetic field creates electricity of very high pressure. Electricity is transmitted to all over Denmark through an enormous grid of masts and cables. Before entering the houses, electricity is transformed into low-voltage electricity via a transformer station. When the steam has emitted energy to the turbine, the steam is cooled down. In a power plant, this happens by leading the steam through a heat exchanger. Here, the steam meets cool district heating water, which cools down the steam, while the district heating water is heated up. So steam turns into water again and can be pumped back into the boiler and turn into high-pressure steam again. The district heating water from the plant's heat exchanger is transferred to houses through kilometers of district heating pipes. The district heating water warms up the water in the houses in small heat exchangers. District heating water runs in a closed piping system. Part of the district heating water is stored in huge reservoirs, which in principle are similar to large thermoses. This is practical since the consumption of electricity and heat varies from hour to hour and from day to day. Some plants do not produce district heating. Here, the steam from the turbine is cooled by means of seawater. This technique is also used at large power stations in the summer period when the demand for district heating is less. To To protect the environment, the smoke from the boiler is thoroughly cleaned before being emitted to the atmosphere. This is important since the smoke may contain fly ash, nitric oxides and sulfur dioxide, depending on the fuel type. A typical process for cleaning of smoke begins by ammonia being added to the smoke before it is sent through a catalyst. The catalyst makes the ammonia react with the nitric oxides, resulting in water and free nitrogen, substances already existing in the air that we breathe. Then the smoke is sent through an electrostatic filter, where the ash particles of the smoke are made statically conductive. The ash particles stick to big metal sheets and are led into large containers where the ash is captured. The last step for the smoke is a desulfurization unit, in which the smoke is sprayed with a mixture of water and limestone. This mixture reacts with the content of sulfur dioxide in the smoke. This process results in a product that we all know, plaster. Dong Energy produces half the electricity in Denmark. Once every hour, Dong Energy's production capacity is offered at North European power exchanges. This takes place on an equal footing with other power producers, ensuring that the customers only buy the necessary and cheapest electricity. In this way, production and price are determined by supply and demand. Since wind power and hydropower are the cheapest to produce, electricity produced on these plants are sold first. Only then the production from the power plants is up for sale. We can only supply the market if our power stations are competitive. In case of much wind, or if the hydropower stations in Norway and Sweden have sufficient amounts of water, the market price goes down. But when there is less wind and there is no rain or snow, the market price goes up, because the production at the power stations has to be increased correspondingly in order to meet the customers' demands. In this way, the power station production and renewable energy in the form of wind and hydropower complement one another. Dong Energy produces more than 1/3 of all district heating in Denmark. The heat is sold to district heating companies, which sell on the heat to the end consumers. Dong Energy produces energy efficiently and responsibly. The production of electricity and heat is primarily based on coal, but also on oil, natural gas, waste and biomass. We cannot do without the power stations in our production of heat and power. Even though we plan to extend the production of renewable energy with wind energy, this is far from being sufficient to deliver a stable production covering the energy demand. So it is necessary to have an energy supply that can be adjusted at short notice. Dong Energy plays an active part in the development of the world's best power plant technologies. Thus, we could reduce the world's total emission of CO2 by about 9% if we transferred the best of our technologies to coal-fired power plants. The emission of CO2 is a threat to our climate. Therefore, Dong Energy carries out serious research in how to effectively separate CO2 from the carbonaceous smoke. The CO2 could, for instance, be stored underground or in empty oil fields in the North Sea. Moreover, Dong Energy participates in the reduction of the CO2 emission from the transport sector, which is responsible for 20% of the global emission of CO2. This can be done by adding bioethanol to petrol. Dong Energy is among the leaders within the development of bioethanol, which is produced from waste and residual products from the agricultural sector. The production of bioethanol requires admission to heat and power, and therefore important synergies can be achieved if the bioethanol is produced in connection with a power plant. For many years, we have been striving to optimize the combustion of coal and other fossilized fuels in order to reduce the environmental impact. We had an EU project aiming at developing the future coal-fired technology. The object of the project is to raise the steam temperature in the boiler to 700 degrees Celsius to obtain a more efficient power station process. Apart from CO2, power plant flue gas also contains sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and ash particles. Therefore, we have installed environmental equipment in the power plants to minimize the emission. When coal, oil, biomass, and waste are transformed into heat and power, a series of mineral and residual products such as fly ash, bottom ashes, and plaster are formed. Instead of depositing the products, they are sold to domestic and foreign industries. As an example, fly ash from coal-fired heating is used as a valuable material in the production of cement, concrete, and asphalt, whereas plaster is part of the production of plasterboards and cement. All Dong Energy power plants are environmentally certified to ensure a systematic and targeted effort of reducing pollution of the environment.